You city folks, you see a lonely cottage in the mountains, wrapped in a fog, surrounded by pine trees, and you think, how romantic. A quiet place, a place to fall in love again. But people who live in these hills, we know something you do not. Some houses in the mountains are not empty, and some welcomes are not meant for guests. That is exactly what Ajay and Rasika believed last December when they drove up to the old family cottage. The drive up the mountain was quiet, too quiet. Not the comfortable silence of two people enjoying the view. No. This was the kind of silence that grows when words have been left unsaid for too long. 3 years of late nights, missed dinners, small arguments that turned into cold walls. This trip was their last attempt to fix what had broken between them. But the mountain road did not feel welcoming. The higher they climbed, the colder the air became. Ajay's old car heater rattled weakly, blowing nothing but lukewarm air. Outside, the pine trees stretched tall and dark. And up here in the mountains, the sun disappears early. By evening, the fog arrives. And when the fog comes, the world becomes very small. Rasika hugged her coat tighter. She watched the trees slide past the window. Tall, black, silent. Sometimes, the fog shifted in strange ways between the trunks, like something moving just out of sight. She looked back over her shoulder. Nothing. Only trees. But the uneasy feeling stayed. You know that feeling, don't you? When the night feels like it's watching you back. Ajay gripped the steering wheel tighter. He said they were almost there. But he sounded like a man trying to convince himself. Rasika only nodded. The radio gave up long ago, replaced by a soft hiss of static. Finally, Ajay switched it off. Now there was nothing left but the sound of the tires on gravel. And then they arrived. The cottage stood at the edge of the hill. Dark wood, heavy stone walls, tall windows staring into the fog. It had once belonged to Ajay's grandfather, but no one had lived there for years. The house looked tired, like it had been waiting a long time. Ajay dragged their bags from the trunk. The old iron gate screamed when he pushed it open. The sound echoed through the empty hills. Now listen carefully, because that was the first warning. But they didn't hear it. People rarely do. Inside, the cottage was freezing, colder than outside. It smelled of dust, damp wood, and something older, something forgotten. Ajay switched on a flashlight. The yellow beam cut through the dark room. Furniture hid under white sheets like silent ghosts. He said he would start a fire. His breath came out in pale clouds. Rasika walked slowly to the window. She wiped the frost from the glass. Outside, nothing but fog. But that strange feeling returned. The feeling that someone, somewhere, was watching. And then they heard it. Soft, slow, silver anklets. Stepping closer, Ajay froze. The matchbox slipped from his fingers. Rasika grabbed his arm. Both of them stared at the front door. The sound stopped right outside. Ajay pulled the door open. Fog rolled inside the room. And then she appeared. She stepped out of the white mist. A woman, dressed in a deep red sari. Her long black hair moved in the freezing wind. But strangely, she did not seem cold at all. Not even a shiver. Ajay stepped slightly in front of Rasika. The woman smiled. Calm, gentle. She said her name was Mohini. Her voice was soft, warm, almost musical. She explained she lived in a house deeper in the forest. A neighbor, just checking on the new arrivals. Perfectly polite, perfectly normal. But the way she looked at Ajay, that was not normal. Her eyes stayed on him, unblinking, interested. The scent reached them next. Jasmine. Strong. Sweet. It pushed away the smell of wet pine and cold stone. In her hands, she carried a small clay bottle. She said the cottage would take hours to warm up. And in these mountains, cold can creep into your bones. And so she brought a welcome drink, a special brew, made from mountain flowers, good for warming the blood. Ajay hesitated, but refusing a neighbor's kindness felt rude, so he accepted it. And that, my friends, was the second mistake. 10 minutes later, Mohini was gone. The cottage felt warmer. A fire crackled in the stone fireplace. Rasika poured the dark drink from Mohini's bottle into 2 cups. The liquid looked thick, almost black in the firelight. Without saying much, they drank. At first, nothing happened. Then, the warmth spread through their bodies. Slowly, starting in the stomach, moving through their chest, their arms, their fingertips. The freezing cold vanished. Ajay loosened his collar. The room felt strangely warm now. Heavy, comfortable. Rasika's cheeks flushed red. The tension between them, the months of arguments, began to fade. The drink softened everything. Their thoughts, their anger, their distance. Rasika moved closer to Ajay, slowly, as if the warmth pulling through her veins was drawing her toward him. Ajay reached for her without thinking. For the first time in a long while, they held each other. And for a moment, The broken pieces of their marriage seemed to disappear. The drink wrapped around their minds like soft fog, pulling them down, deeper, heavier, into a trance, into sleep. But the drink did not take Ajay completely. Just before his eyes closed, something made him look up toward the window. And there she was, Mohini, standing outside in the fog, watching. Her red sari glowing faintly in the darkness, a slow smile on her lips, her eyes burning with a deep, unnatural red light. She wasn't looking at Rasika. She was looking only at him, like a hunter watching trapped prey. Ajay tried to move, but his body refused. The magical drink had already taken hold. He blinked, and when he looked again, the window was empty. Only fog remained. Rasika pulled his head gently against her shoulder, already lost in deep sleep. But Ajay did not sleep that night. He lay awake, staring at the dark ceiling, because even with his eyes closed, he could still feel it. Those red eyes, watching him from somewhere in the forest, waiting. Later that night, the empty clay bottle rested quietly on the floor. Outside, the mountain wind howled through the trees, and somewhere deep in the woods, a woman laughed softly. You see, my friends, a trap is always most dangerous when it first feels like comfort. The sweet drink was only the beginning. Tomorrow night, Ajay and Rasika will learn something terrible. Because once the mountain welcomes you, it does not like letting you leave. Now, if you enjoyed sitting by this fire and listening to this tale, do an old storyteller a small favor. Tap the like button so more wanderers can find the story in the dark. And subscribe to the channel, because tomorrow night, the next part of Ajay and Rasika's story will be told. Trust me, you will want to hear what Mohini does next. And if you know someone who loves a good story on a cold night, share this one with them. The fire will be waiting. Because here in these mountains, some stories do not like being forgotten.